Hi, this video is going to be a little bit different today because I thought it would be interesting to take a look at the makeup that I use for stage when I conduct a concert. I am a big consumer of YouTube videos, and a lot of the videos I like to watch are makeup videos. So you watch someone teach you how to put on makeup or review makeup, and I thought a great makeup style video would be fun today so we can talk about performance makeup. Now my makeup has to be very interesting. It is in between two different styles of makeup. One is the theatrical makeup, so you can see your facial features from far away. The people who need to see my face are the orchestra because I use my face when I conduct, and the audience has to be able to see my face from stage when I turn around and talk to them. But it also has to be makeup that can be seen as street makeup for when I talk to patrons individually after the concert. So it can't be exaggerated with dark brows and dark contouring and look clownish when I'm talking to people individually. So it walks a fine line between the theatrical elements of being able to see my features from stage and the street makeup elements of being able to look normal when I talk to patrons. So we're going to go through my entire makeup look today, and by the end of this video you'll know how to do your makeup that's sweatproof and rosacea cover for your next concert or event. So let's get started. Okay, so I guess we start off with how I start off everything, which is with skin prep and skincare. So the first thing I do is I put on some of this toner. It's Japanfusion, as you can see, it's well loved. I put it in a small little spray bottle and I spray it all over my face. Now I've already done this step, so that way it had time to sink in, but this is how I do it. Then I go in with a hyaluronic acid serum from CosChem Supply. This is their 60% strength with C in it, and there'll be a link to get this in the description box below. Everything will be linked in the description box below. So I've already done those steps, and then the next thing I always do, is put on some sunscreen. This is the Nivea Super Water Gel, SPF 50. You can get this on Amazon. It's from Japan, so it sinks in gorgeously. There's no pilling, no white cast, no greasy feeling with it at all. So it's a wonderful sunscreen to be able to be put under makeup. But this is the sunscreen I wear every day. Even if I'm not going to be putting on makeup, I wear this sunscreen. Even if I'm not leaving the house, I wear this sunscreen. Sunscreen is the #1 thing you can do to help your skin. So for the base, I mix two foundations for a base because I have rosacea, as you can tell, around in my cheeks and over my nose and in my chin. So a lot of this is designed to cover this rosacea because it gets worse when I start to sweat. And when you're on the podium, you sweat a lot. And so I need something that's going to cover my rosacea so that way I don't look like a red tomato as I conduct, because people start worrying about me when I look so red. So again, I cover up. So the first thing I mix is this Dermacol foundation. It's in the color 208, which is a pretty good match for my skin tone. It's a little bit lighter and a little yellow. So that's why I have to mix. I go ahead and put some on the back of my hand so that way I can use the back of my hand as a palette to mix these foundations. The next foundation I add is the Missha Perfect Cover BB Cream in 21. Now this is my everyday foundation. I love this foundation. A lot of other beauty YouTubers love this foundation as well, especially Jessica Braun. She mentions it all the time. It has a gray undertone, which is what helps mix the Dermacol and match it to my skin tone a little bit better. So I usually do 3 pumps on the back of my hand. And then I just mix them together. After mixing together, I dot across my face. And then I use my well-loved tan beauty blender to blend it in. I do cover the discoloration on my eyelids with it as well. And I go down my neck. As you can see, it's a little bit light, but I help that with the powder I'm going to use. And I have rosacea on my chest as well, as you can see, so I bring it down on my chest. Okay, so we are covered. The next step is what truly makes this a sweat-proof makeup look. I have this old e.l.f. powder in Soft Luminance, but you can still get this. It's in a different container. It's their HD powder in Soft Luminance. It's the same thing, they just changed the containers. And it's half Soft Luminance powder and then a quarter Ben 9 Luxury powder in Cameo, and then Ben 9 Luxury powder in Buff. So I mix these two because there's not a perfect shade match for me in the luxury powders, but the luxury powders are what really make this sweat proof. The Ben 9 is a theatrical makeup company, and so these really absorb sweat very well. So I go ahead and upside down, I tap some out, then I clear the cap, and I go in with a bunch of powder. Now, the way I do that is I take my beauty blender, I dip it into the powder, and then I press it along every bit of my face that has foundation on it. This is kind of like baking, but not really. It's more of a theatrical trick to really set your makeup. And I also set the makeup on my chest as well. It's that damp beauty blender that really helps press it into the skin. And the mix of the two powders, the Cameo and Buff, helps warm up my skin a little bit since the Dermacol was a little bit light for me. To knock off some of that powder once it's set a little bit in the skin and absorbed into the foundation, I use my all-over face brush from Beauty Pie and just go over and brush it down to get any stray powder. That way you get rid of that baked feeling on your skin. The next thing we do is do something with these non-existent eyebrows. Conducting has a lot to do with how you use your face in front of the orchestra, and so having eyebrows that you can see is a very important thing. So what I do is because I'm so blonde, it's really hard to find blonde colored eyebrow products that are in the right tone for me because I have icy blonde and a lot of the blondes out there are warm blondes. So what I do is I take a trick from way back when, OG Nikki tutorials, and I take a MACwear paint pot. This one's in Tailor Gray. Unfortunately, they don't make this anymore, and I will be devastated when I finish it. And I take my It for Ulta angle brush, and I just go in and create a lot of hair strokes throughout to mimic brows. I found that the Longwear paint pot in Tailor Gray is a really great color for my skin in general, and so I really like using it. It kind of goes on a little bit dark, but then you can just even out the color with a little spoolie. You can see the difference between the eyebrows. This side you can actually see my eyebrow move. This side not so much. So I repeat on the other side. Okay, another eyebrow, and go in and then correct it with the spoolie. I always remember to fade in the beginnings of the brow, so that way they don't look stark. I don't like stark eyebrows. They're supposed to complement the face and help me frame my eyes, not take over my face with their dramatic nature. Then to set them, I go in with the NYX Control Freak Clear Brow Gel, just to make sure that they don't move. I stand them up to make my brow look as fluffy as possible because I like a fluffy brow. Again, it's all about having features that you can see from far away, from the end of the orchestra or from stage. And so a bigger brow, a fluffier brow, even though it is very, very in right now, a fluffier brow helps me define my face. The next thing I do is I go in and I define my face. I use the NYX Sweet Cheeks Matte cheek products in So Taupe. Now again, this is discontinued, so if you're looking for another type of bronzer, the one that I wear daily and I love is the Lumi True Match L'Oreal Bronze It in Light. I use this every day, but I like the fact that the Sweet Cheeks is a little bit darker. Again, I'm going for a look on stage that you can see from the back of the stage while still looking like street makeup when you see me up front. So that's why I like it a little bit darker. I go in with my Sephora angled multitasker brush. This one is discontinued, but they do have some in the Pro range that are very similar, and I'll have those linked in the description box for you. So I go in and I define the cheeks, and I'm using this more as a contour than a bronzer. Then I define my jaw area, going all the way behind the ear. And then I define the edges of my face. If a little bit sticks out like these do, I go in with my multitasker brush that has some of that powder left on it, and I just blend it in. There, much better. Then, even though I have rosacea, I still use blush because I have blocked out all of my natural color with the Dermacol foundation. So I go in with the Sephora Colorful in So Shy. It's a very light pink. I don't need a whole lot of blush because even though I'm trying my hardest to block out my rosacea, some of it will creep through. I use my Sephora Featherweight Pro brush in 90. This is an all-over face and blush brush. Again, this is discontinued because Sephora got rid of their Pro line. They completely redid it. So you can see and find a brush like this on Sephora's site really easily. I'll have some linked in the description box below. But I just go in a little bit, tap some off, and then just go on the height of my cheeks. Again, not too much, but I'm just trying to bring some warmth back into my face. Then you can't forget about highlighter. I have completely mattified my entire face with the Dermacol and all of the luxury powders from NYX because, again, this is sweat-proof. So I have to go back in and very consciously highlight the points of my face that I want to stand forward a little bit. And I do that with the Revolution Vivid Baked Highlighter in Radiant Lights. Again, this is discontinued. I've had it forever. And I only use a very little bit of it, so it's gonna last me forever. But they have something that is very similar, and I'll link it in the description box below. So I broke it so the top comes off. But I take my Beauty Pie soft highlight powder brush and just do a little bit of a swirl and go on the high points of the face, so right there in my cheek area on both sides, and then on the tip of my nose, on my Cupid's bow, on my chin, and the middle of my forehead. That's where I really want the light to hit my face and stand out. You can kind of see it there. So now on to the eyes. It's very important for me to define my eyes so that way people can see them from stage. Either the orchestra can see my eyes or the performance public can see my eyes. So I do go in with some eyeshadow. It's not a full beat. I'm not going in with graphic eyeliner and crazy colors. It's very neutral. I actually have this cute little Beauty Pie eyeshadow palette in beautiful neutrals here. And you can see it goes from the lightest shade to the darkest shade. It is a true neutral palette, so it doesn't lean warm, because I don't want anything to lean warm because I am not warm. My hair is not warm. But I use the first two shades here, so Spilled Milk and Toffee, and then Raw Cacao to deepen the corners. For that, I use the Sephora Touch Up eye set, and I use two of them. I use the crease brush and I use the all over shadow brush. I use the crease brush for blending out and the all over shadow for putting down the product. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into Spilled Milk and do it from my eyelashes to my brow bone, just to set down a layer of product. It will help everything else blend out, and the Spilled Milk color is very close to my skin tone. Then what I do is I go in with Toffee here, and I do that windshield wiper motion by getting it all over in my crease and blowing it out a little bit. It's a nice neutral brown, so it's not overly warm. And it helps define my eye. Now this eye has a little bit of skin on the side of it that makes this windshield wiper motion a little bit difficult, but I usually go back in with that blending brush to help it out. It's really annoying that my eyes are not the same. I wish they would match, but they don't. See how you can get this darker patch right there? I just go in and blend it out a little bit. Okay, so now that I've defined the crease a little bit with that transition color, I'm gonna go in with Raw Cacao now, the darkest brown, and just deepen the corners a little bit. Not too much. Again, this is not a full beat. This is just to help define the eye. And again, this eye always is a little bit behind the other one, blending wise. So I go in with that crease brush and make sure it's all blown out. The next thing I need is a really great pop of brightness on my lid. It helps draw some light into my eye and helps illuminate my eyeball, which is really important. People need to see where I'm looking from the podium. So I have this really great Kiko product called Lost in Amalfi, the Metal Chrome eyeshadow in Sparkling Champagne. It is gorgeous and it picks up the light really well. Now this is the only time that I will do something that's a little bit warm, but I found that gold tones on my eye really work well. So I'm just using my finger to pat it in the center of my eye, focusing on that center bit right there and patting it out where it meets the rest of the shadow. Again, a very neutral look because I'm not trying to make a conversation with my makeup. I'm just trying to define my face for the podium. And the next thing I do is kind of new in my routine. I tightline the underside of my lids with this great liner, the La Liner Signature from L'Oreal in Noir Cashmere. Now, this was a recommendation from Jessica Braun, and it is new in my routine, but it's the only liner that I can use that does not transfer down onto my lower waterline, which is a big deal because I want to make sure that my eyes are as open as possible, so I avoid putting anything on the lower lash line, even mascara. So let's go ahead and go in and tightline. I can only do this with contacts on. If I do not have contacts on, my eye completely rejects it out of hand and tears up and doesn't let me tightline. Not a big deal, super fast, and it's really great because that black then is on the bottom of your lash line and it helps make your lashes look black all the way back. So then I go in with a little bit of eyeliner with the KVD Vegan Beauty Tattoo Liner in Trooper Black. This one is back from when it was called Kat Von D, but it has changed, but the product itself hasn't changed. Now, I don't go in with a flick. I don't do a cat eye. I just do a rounded shape because I want my eyes to look large. So I'm not looking to dramatize the eye by bringing it up and out. I'm looking to make it look more round so that way the eye itself looks larger. It's a Korean beauty trick so that you don't flick out your eyeliner, but you actually bring it down and a little bit around, and it makes your eye look more round, like a ball. Now I go in and I very carefully and use the edge of the liner, draw in right next to my the bed of my eyelashes. Again, not too much liner. I'm not looking to make a statement with my makeup. I do make it a little bit thicker when it gets to the edge of my eye, so that way it defines that downward slope a little bit to make my eye look rounder. Eyeliner, no eyeliner. It really does make a difference. And now I go into the next eye. Now that I have my eyeliner on, I wait just a hair to let it dry down a bit because the next thing I do is I go in with my Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. I do this before mascara so that way the mascara does not transfer because I have very oily eyelids and it will the mascara will transfer like nobody's business if I do the setting spray after the mascara. So I just go in. This is obviously the old packaging and it's the travel size. I just refilled this because I really like the sprayer on this one. I just got really enthralled with it and just didn't want to change. I just don't want to mess it up. I always do my neck as well because I do have matte makeup on my neck, so you have to set that as well. And then I go in with my Blink mascara. This is a tubing mascara. Again, I can't use regular mascara because my eyelids are so oily. Everything will transfer and I'll get panda eyes. So these tubing mascaras are the only ones that I can use and not have any transfer. So what I do is I just make sure to get one like this mascara amplified in black so that way I can do multiple coats. Okay, then all that's left is my lips. Now, I'm really picky with my lips. I don't really like matte lip color because I need to be as comfortable as possible on the podium, so that way I am not distracted by the texture of my lips, because I'll be breathing heavily and using my face to communicate with the orchestra. So I like something that's a gloss. My favorite gloss are the NYX Butter Glosses, which you can get for $5 at any drugstore, or you can get them off of Amazon. I'll have an Amazon link in the description. And I just fill up my lips with that. I make sure that there's no foundation on my lips. And then I just go in with the lip gloss. Fix my hair, and then the next thing I'm ready for is jewelry. Now, jewelry I find really important to me because it's a way that I can display my originality of my person on the podium, because I wear a black suit, so there's not a whole lot that I can do to communicate any kind of intent or idea with my clothing, because it's bland for a reason. I'm the focus of the music, but I shouldn't be overtaking the music. But I use jewelry to communicate what I'm feeling and my intentions to the music through my jewelry. Now, I always do the jewelry last, because setting sprays can ruin costume jewelry. And this is all costume jewelry. I don't actually buy really expensive necklaces or anything. I buy a new necklace for every show or concert that I do, and this one was bought for about 3 years ago when we did Carmina Burana. The high neck shirt helps frame the necklace, and it lays low enough on my neck so that it doesn't bother me. And I will sweat into it because I'm going to sweat, but it's still low enough that it's not a bother to me as I conduct. There we go. That's the finished look. That is how I do my makeup as a conductor, to make it sweat proof and to cover all of my rosacea, so that way I don't look like a red-faced tomato on the podium after sweating a lot. You can tell that the jacket frames the necklace really well, and everything is in neutrals, so that way I'm not making a statement with my makeup. I'd rather make a statement with my statement necklace. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you like these videos, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and join us for some more videos. Most of the videos I do on my channel are highly researched videos about music theory and music history, but I'll sprinkle these kind of videos, these like lifestyle of a conductor videos in as well. And I would love for you to join us in this kind of journey that I'm on. So subscribe and leave me a comment below talking about what kind of makeup you use to be able to be sweat proof, rosacea cover, but also be able to be in front of a public on an individual level, so it doesn't look like stage makeup. So go ahead and let me know down in the comments below what you think. I would love to hear if you have any other products that you would like me to try. Thanks so much.